Welcome to Sabre Hotel RFP Travel Buyer 1 training. My name is Rita Cuppett and I'm with the Sabre RFP team. The goal of today is to compile your entire solicitation packet and then successfully sending them through to your hotels that you have identified. We're going to achieve that by systematically going through the entire process, starting with creating a new RFP, drafting a cover letter, then we will choose and customize our questionnaires. We'll add the travel destinations, add hotels to those travel destinations, and then finally send the packet out to the hotels. We will also spend a little bit of time on our support site and with tools and links and extra information available to you as a user. And then finally, I'll end with about 10 minutes specifically dedicated to our agency buyers. You know, the entire onboarding process, adding users and their credentials, and just a little bit more information for our agency buyers. So let's jump in and go straight ahead to our Sabre RFP homepage. This is of course where you can log in, but also log tickets for support. You can contact the sales or training departments, and there's special tabs for our travel buyers, our hotels and chains, and of course more information about Sabre and who we are. So let's go and log in with your credentials. There we go. And as you see here, it defaults to the bids page in Sabre RFP, and this is also our old user interface. We're very excited to debut our new user interface, and it will be the default standard within the month, and we'll communicate that through to our users. So I'm simply going to click here to go to the new user interface. Very user-friendly. It kind of seamlessly just guides you throughout the whole process. On this page, you will see the RFPs that you've worked with in the past, and they will all be here, and you can either just edit them if it's something that you've been working on recently. You can preview, of course, the RFP, and if you so choose, delete the RFP from your list, which I'm going to do with that one. But for the sake of the session, I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new RFP. On this page, you can see here on the left-hand side kind of a guide that tells you where you are in the process and what the next step would be. If it's in black, it means that we're still working on it, currently working on it. And then as soon as we've done that specific section, it will turn green. You can, of course, at any stage save a draft, and that will save your work up until that stage. So you don't have to do all of this in one sitting. You can just go back, pick your RFP, and then go to the specific section that you were working on. The name defaults on this year's RFP, and my company is Demo Test Site, so it says 2015 Demo Test Site. I want to start a brand new RFP, and I'm going to call this 2015 Demo Test Site RFP 4. I can copy from a previous year RFP very easy, and it will bring that entire RFP into this new one that I'm creating. But again, for the sake of this training session, I'm going to start from scratch. My RFP due date is, of course, a date that I do want my RFPs back. I can simply drag and delete and free type the date in that I want it back, or of course I can use my calendar. The strictly enforced due date is for, it's really up to you how you want to manage this. If you decide to extend the date a little bit and be flexible that users can still send in RFPs even after the due date, you will click no, and the hotels will have, number one, access to view the RFP, and number two, be able to send that RFP and submit it to you. If you click strictly enforce, nobody will be able to view that RFP, and they will obviously not be able to submit it. The program start and end date coincide with your program start and end date. So whether it's annual starting in January and ending in December, it could be fiscal that goes with your fiscal year starting, say, the 1st of February till the end of January, or even if you do multiple year agreements, you can reflect that in here. And the bid type that we're doing is our corporate transient. So we just click on the next button, And in our new user interface, there's a very handy blue box called our information box, and it gives nice tips about the section that you're about to work on. So we're gonna go ahead and draft a brand new cover letter. Again, if you're a seasoned user, you can choose cover letters from the templates that you either upload or have created in the past. You have your edit bars here, so you can really highlight specific verbiage that you want to make sure the hotels take note of. And note that this is the first thing that the hotels do see when they open our RFP. So if I want to make sure that they know that I want a rate of 7% below last year, I'm going to highlight that in a color. I can of course change my wording here, and I can add all those aspects of my travel program that I want to highlight to the hotels. If I am happy with my cover letter, I can save it as a template for future use. And I'm just going to say here, reader favorite, and then it will save it to my templates that I can use in the future. And here we have an option to attach documents to our cover letter. This can be used to add, for instance, an Excel spreadsheet with office locations, or maybe you want to add some city spend to the specific locations. It could also be a document that highlights the fact that you recently merged with another company, or if there was a name change. So this is really up to you what you want to send and communicate to your hotels. Just beware that the size could not exceed 2 megabytes, otherwise it will be returned to you. So if we're happy with our cover letter and this is what we want to attach to our RFP, we can simply go to the next stage. And as you can see here on the left, we have completed the RFP summary, or we have drafted our cover letter, and now we're going to go into the hotel questionnaire side. This is really vital part of our RFP. If you go ahead and customize this questionnaire, be certain to think through all the aspects that you want to report on and make sure that they are included in your questionnaire. We can go through by section and just click on whichever one you want to work on, or we can systematically go through each and every question in each and every section by expanding it. And if you press collapse again, it goes back to the collapse form. Property basic questions, you can decide whether you want to, and this is the same for all of the questions in the questionnaire, whether you want it included or mandated. The difference is that if you mandate a question, the hotel has to answer it in order to be able to continue with the questionnaire. And this is also important for specific questions that you're going to report on, so make sure those are mandated, and that will force the hotels to answer it for you, that you have that information. And usually on property basic questions, they are vital or vital information, so let's go ahead and mandate those. You will also notice that if you do not include a question or mandate a question, it means that you exclude the question and it will not be visible to the hotel. And it will be highlighted in this kind of purplish pinkish color. So that will highlight the fact that this question is not included in your questionnaire. So again, if we go through there, we do have the option for client-specific questions. These questions will be specifically geared towards your company and that you want to ask from the hotels. So in this section is of course the option to configure your rate grid. So we're going to do that, and here we can really define our rate grid and the types of rates that we want to solicit from the properties. We can decide how many seasons we'll be accepting rates for, and this again is for this specific RFP to all the hotels that you're sending it out to. So if we say we're looking at 2 seasons, high and low, and what room types that you want to include in this. And I just want to look at standard room types with my RFP. And occupancy types, would it be single, double, or both, and rates that you need. Although most hotels standardize on a single room rate, some hotels still do charge whether it's a single occupancy and different than for a double occupancy. By default, this is the rate that your entire RFP will default to, and this is the negotiated LRA rate. If you want to change that, you certainly can. And then you also have the option to add additional rates that you can basically benchmark the rate that they are offering for you. Negotiated non-LRI rates, of course, it's usually a little bit lower than our LRI rates. And then we can add our rack rate, and it's always good to look at the government or military rate. And you have the option to allow the hotel to add in blackout dates. These are specifically for like citywide events, and things where the hotel doesn't really want to offer your rate to you, so you do give them the option to add a blackout date where the rate is not available. Also for extended stay, you can add that amount of nights that you think that your travelers will stay at. So I'm going to say my travelers will not stay longer than 7 nights. So let's save that. Okay, so here we can say our configured defined rate grid for us. We've got the seasons here. We've got I only chose one season. We've got our room types, and then the negotiated LRA rates and the non-LRA rates that I have defined. So if we go through to that, we get to a second part where we can actually add custom questions. And depending on the question you have will be the answer. We've got 3 answer types. Text, we can have 3 type. Numbers, so they can add a number 1, 2, or 3, a yes or no, and then we even have an option for multiple choice. So if I ask my custom question to be if they deliver welcome gifts, let's do that. And let's say, do you deliver welcome gifts? And of course, this is a simple yes or no question, so I'll click that. If I change the question to kind of like, how many welcome gifts do you deliver? They can put in a number. Or you can ask what type, and then they can put a text in there and free write in there. And then if you choose multiple choice, you simply divide it by the choice that you give them, by a comma, and then that will come up as multiple choice in your questionnaire. So let's save that, and then you can see here, do you deliver welcome gifts? And I want this to be mandated. And you have always the option to edit this question or delete it as you go. And the rest of the questions, as I said, you can go through each and every one and decide whether you want to include, exclude, or mandate that in your program. But if you're happy with your questionnaire and you want to save it for future use, I can just say here that this is my full service properties for 2015, and then I can save it as such. And then next time I can choose for my template, and it will be there. There it is, my full service. Of course, the system comes with your system templates that you can choose. Most of our traveler buyers do choose and standardize on the 2013 GBTA form, which you can choose from that. I'm not going to switch over, but just to show you the options that you do have. So if we're happy with our questionnaire and we've set it out the way that we would like the answers to come back to us, we can simply go to the next step in the process. And as again on your left hand side, it gives us kind of a running total to where we are, And here we can actually preview our RFP so far. We can look at the cover letter and how that shows, and then of course the questionnaire that we have built. And if you go through, we've got our client specific here with our rate grid that we did, and then a little bit more down we'll see our custom question that we did add, and that's usually in highlighted in the little blue color to just draw your eye to it. Okay, so there's our, and there's also of course groups and meetings, but we didn't go into that in detail. But if we're happy with our RFP, we have the option to print it, and then of course the option to save it as a PDF. This comes in handy if you need approval from a superior, or if you just want to get a second pair of eyes on this before you do send it out. So you have the option to do it there. And then we just go down to the bottom, and then we click through to the next step, which is adding our travel destinations. And travel destinations can really be defined as any destination where your travelers will be traveling to. It could be a satellite office, a regional headquarters. It could even be a client site where you might send consultants to. And this is really where you set your travel program in stone, if I can say that. So think through it. Everything is kind of driven by the travel destinations. So make sure that you do add all the destinations you do need. And you can always add additional ones if, say, an office opens and things like that. So the previous travel destinations will pull through. But say my company is doing so wonderful that we are expanding, and I'm going to add a brand new regional office, and let's say we're going to do that in Chicago. So if I look at the destination name, I'm going to call it a regional office, Chicago. And it's always good to give it a really descriptive name, especially for future use, that you can really identify that specific destination. If you see here to the right, you can add destinations from an airport, and you just choose the airport and then add it from there. But we're going to go ahead and add a specific destination that we've chosen. And we work on the Google Map functionality here. So the more information you can supply, the more accurate this will be. So I highly recommend that you fill in all the fields that you can. And I'm going to put a specific address here of my new regional office in Chicago. And we're also going to put this the state in, and that's Illinois, my zip code, and then of course the country, important, and you can add international destinations as well. We have to look here at the room night estimate. There's two choices. You can either put in your own number, say 620, or you can choose a range. At this stage, it is not mandatory, but it will be within the next month that you will have to either add the room night estimate or add a range. And you can even add spend there. And remember, the more details we do give our hotels, the better they will be able to give you the most preferential rates and also the amenities and that you do need out of your program. So if we go ahead, we can look at this on a map here, and again it's our Google functionality. And if we look here, we can see exactly where this new office is located, and also the area around it, highways and byways. And if we close there. The second part to adding a destination is the option of adding competitive bids to your program. It's a simple yes or no to either add it or opt out of it, and competitive bids really gives you the option to expand your area and choice of hotels. This will mean that hotels that comply to the specific requirements you set here will be included in the solicitation, and they will receive an RFP. We have 2 mandatory fields that they have to comply to. You can choose how far away you will look at hotels from your office. And let's say we're going to choose a radius of 5 miles. And I really do want hotels 3-star or better. And then this is additional information, it's not mandatory, but always good to add. And I'll choose 2 hotels in this market, and I will be interested in extended stay rates, which is usually discounted from the bar rates depending on your length of stay. I can even choose preferred and specific amenities here. If I say that high-speed internet is important, I definitely want an airport shuttle, and it would be great to have continental breakfast. So here I've set and defined my new travel destination, and I simply added to my list. And if we look at this, there it is, a regional office Chicago. I do have the option of setting my preferences in bulk for all my properties, so you can certainly do that. Another unique feature here is that you can find the property through the search destination. You can just put some keywords in and try and find it. You also have the option to, of course, edit your destination. You simply click and then you can go in and edit that destination if anything has changed. And I also have the option of deleting a destination from this page. So say my distribution center in Alliance, Nebraska closed, and I will not be needing this destination anymore, I can simply delete it. Okay, so now we've added our A regional office destination in Chicago, and all the other travel destinations have pulled in. We do have the option to add destinations, travel destinations in bulk, and I will go through that a little bit later. But just please note that that will only work for hotels with a Sabre HOD code that is on the GDS. If the hotels are not on the GDS, they'll have to be added. If the travel destinations are not on the GDS, they will have to be added one by one. Okay, great. So if we go ahead and we're happy with all the destinations here, we just simply click next. And this is where we add our hotels. So at the moment you can see I don't have any hotels added to my list. So I do want to go ahead and I simply click on the add hotel. I can add a specific hotel here. If I have the name and preferably the HOD code. The problem with hotel names are that the name that you might know it by is not necessarily the name that's reflecting in the GDS. Hotel names are often truncated and abbreviated, and then it will not pull up. So either use the minimum description that you can, or the HOD code. You can also search near our travel destination. So I want to make sure that I search for my A regional office in Chicago. This is the destination that I want to add the hotels to, and again I can add my proximity, and let's say I'm going to look at everything 5 miles radius. So let's search those hotels, and as you can see, a nice bunch came up here. There's a really good selection of hotels in Chicago. So I decide to, you know what, since I got so many hotels, I'm going to actually minimize the radius to just 2 miles away. And that will then of course bring up a much smaller list. And let's search and see. So we still have quite a bit here. I'm going to then minimize it even more. Let's do 1/2 mile away and search for those properties. Okay, great. So we've got a page here. And there's different options of searching for specific hotels that I do want. I can do it by chain if there's a specific chain that I prefer, star rating to see which star rating is in the area, and then the location type, airport, rural, suburban. We do know that we are downtown here with my address, so I'm going to go ahead and choose from the list I have here. A new feature that we do have are for eco-certified hotels. It's something that's becoming more and more important to a lot of travel buyers, that they source eco-certified hotels. And very easy to spot. It's the green leaf here next to the properties. So since I've got such a great selection of hotels, I'm actually going to go ahead and say that I only want hotels that are eco-certified. And then from this page I can either go in line by line, and it shows me of course the hotel name, the address, city, state, and then how far this is from my travel destination. I can map the hotel, and again we work here with our Google functionality. So here we are, and we can see exactly where that hotel is, and it gives us a good indication of, again, the highways, the byways. Is it close to entertainment? Is it close to restaurants? So this really gives you a good indication of where this property is. So if I go back and I just want to hide the map, and then from here I can also change destinations, but I want to keep with my regional Chicago office, and then I can add this hotel line by line. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this one hotel. If I decide that I'm happy with all of these, I can simply grab them from the left here and do a bulk selection and add them, and it says here that 9 hotels were indeed added. I can also from here show all the properties on my map. And since it's a test system, sometimes it doesn't quite work the way we want to, but we can see here that the one hotel is showing there. And then of course we have the option to hide the map again and go back to our list. So we've been successful in adding all these hotels to my travel program. Of course I can go for a second round and add some more if I do want to. Here it also gives you the opportunity that add a hotel to our database that's not in here. So say you are aware of a brand new Marriott hotel that's opening just 2 blocks from this location, you can certainly add that and send the RFP through to them as well, and you just complete all the information here, but all fields are required. So just take a mention of that. So if I'm happy with my travel destinations and I've added my Chicago office, I can simply go ahead and close that, and here back at my hotels tab I can see the hotels that I have added. And again I've got more actions here where I can show it on my map, and we can just go ahead and this will then be included in my travel program. So let's go ahead and look, here is our review and send, and as you can see here we are nearing the end of the whole process. Looking great. We've gone through each and every step, and again if you want to go back and edit or change you can certainly do so. Here it just gives us an opportunity to review our entire packet, review the hotels we're sending it to, and just make sure that we have everything in there that we need. We have the option here to assign the specific RFP to a contact, or even assign it to a national account manager. Important to note here is that all the properties will have to have a contact in order for your RFP to be sent to them. If there's no contact, the RFP will not be delivered. So like the Embassy Suites here downtown, we know that we work with Susie Brown there, so I can just go ahead and add Susie's details. And then of course, we do need the fax number, because that's an alternate way of delivering the RFP. There are additional costs to that though, but it's an alternate way. And then of course, Susie's address, and we're going to put that in there, and then we can save it. So now we have Susie Brown as our contact. If, say, I do know that at the Hyatt Regency, I've started to work with Jared, I can just drag and delete and add Jared's contact details to that and update it, because the more accurate, of course, the better my response rates will be. And then we have Jared's email here, and then we can just simply save it, and then that's up to date. Just going back here, you can see that this is hyperlinked, so if we click on that, it will show us the travel destination, and you even have the option of editing it from the screen. We also have the option to send an email or note directly to our contact there. You simply complete it here and send it through. And then here we can drop down and look at actions here. We can send the RFP directly, and we still, up till this stage, have the option to remove the specific property from our list. So let's go ahead and look at how we assign it to a national account manager. Say that there is a specific account manager at a brand that you work with, and you want to assign these properties to the national account manager. You can certainly do so. So let's change our view to show by master chain, which shows the different chains that we have hotels for, and that will highlight the accounts that you can send it to the national account managers. So if we say I want to send the Kimpton properties to my Kimpton contact, I can just grab those and send it through. Again, it's my test system, so I don't have a Kimpton National Account Manager set up here, but I do know that I have one for Hilton Hotels. So I can choose there my drop-down menu, and I can see, aha, there's a Lisa, and that she's my National Account Manager, and I want to send this straight to her. So you simply do that, and it will be sent through to her once we send those RFPs. You can see that it has changed to her name. So again, we can opt to send the RFP on its own. So I'm going to go ahead and send this to Elisa. We have the RFP notification email here, and you can certainly change and draft that. And if you do want to deliver it by fax, you can just add the fax number, but as it states here, there is a charge for that. So let's go ahead and send it to Elisa. And then I've decided, you know what, I'm just going to grab all of my properties, and I'm going to send it as a bulk. So it says here that direct to property, 7 RFPs have been sent, and then the one I've chosen to send through my national account manager. So there we go. And we now know that we have delivered all the RFPs to these specific properties and hotels that we have chosen. And now you might ask, this is the end of the first part, and this is where we'll start next time, and this is where the properties will then pull up as being sent. So yeah, I hope that was a detailed enough walk through the process and all the specific little clicks that you have to do and options available to you. As I said, we have the Sabre RFP support site that you can visit and certainly log all your support tickets. There's also a great resource for training material where you can view past training webinars, specific documentation, and of course register for upcoming training sessions. So this will conclude the Travel Buyer 1 for both our corporate clients and our travel buyers. And I'm just going to go in now and specifically speak to our agency users. So there is just one difference between our corporate clients and our agency users, and that lies in the Client tab. This is a setup for an agency buyer, and if you can see that I'm going to toggle back, and with our normal corporate buyers there is no Clients tab. And what this Clients tab allows you is to physically go in and add the corporations that you are representing, and you simply do that by putting it in here as ABC Test Company. Select an industry that they're part of. I'm going to say that they are an insurance company. I can pick a logo from a file that I have, so if you want to upload a specific logo, you can definitely do so. You can do the aggregated data selections here if you do want to, and then your RFP requests here. So if I'm ready and I want to go ahead and just add that client, I can certainly do so. And there you see ABC Test Company is now part of my client list. If I want to go ahead and look what RFP actually is, and that's the room night volume. So if you do want to send out reminders for those companies to come back with room night volume, we can certainly send that out, and the same with the aggregated data. So Sabre will allow and aggregate the data on your behalf, but that's a choice that you can either include or exclude. If you go back, you can certainly go and look back into ABC Test Company and edit if there's some details that you want to edit, and this is where we add our users. So if you decide to give access to ABC's procurement buyer that has an interest in the travel program, where he can view his program, you can do it here. This will only give him access to ABC Test Company's program. It will not give them access to any of your other users. So I can say that I want Michael Brown, and he's in Brown at ABC. And his phone number. Fax if I need to, and I want to make him an admin user that he can view and change if need be. And again, the option lies there to just add a user without being an admin user. So I simply add him to the company, and here I can go ahead and add as many as I would like. So let's go ahead. Here I also have an option to upload files from my client list and travel destination, bid list, and rate history. And the upload is very easy. Just ensure that it is in the right format or where you want to upload it from, and we can certainly do that for you. If we go back to our client list, we can see that here is all the companies that we are representing. A click to the hotel directory, and of course if we want to delete them from our system, we can go to our admin page, and this is where you as the admin of your travel agency can add your user. So that is the people working in your office, and of course you can give them a right to be an admin, which will give them a right to look at all the different companies there is. But let's say we're going to add myself as a new user, and my email, my phone, and then I'm going to add my user there. Don't know where that went, but let's see. Let's edit Max's. And this is where we can edit the user profile. So if Max can only work on company support testing, this is where I will give him the user rights to do so. But if he is a senior agent and he needs to be able to work on all my companies, I can certainly add the rights here. So you can change all your users and their rights straight in this page here and update it as such. So then they'll be available and able to look at those companies. And that's why there's a little error message, so I'm only allowed to have X amount of users on my test site and it didn't allow for a third. So that really concludes the agency part of our system. Very easy to do, as you can see, and of course if you need any additional training, there are plenty of resources available on our RFP support site, and you can gladly contact the support team with issues you might have, or you can of course request specific training. We do have a consulting side that we can offer training at specified rates. So thank you so much for joining me, and I do hope that you will use your Sabre RFP system to the max, and just good luck with your upcoming RFP season. Thank you very much.